Good evening, my name is Steve Pereira. Welcome to Quedia on Ben TV, where we explore all things art and culture. My guest tonight used to be a Ben TV regular, but then abandoned us to move into literature and has just published her first book called From Darkness to Diva, a searing but very inspiring biography. Please welcome our very own downtown diva and international drag personality, Skye High.
Thank you.
Welcome. Skye, now this is the book. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Now, Skye, just before we go into anything, I just want to read a quote that's on your webpage. Now, these are reader testimonials who have submitted testimonials.
Correct. They are not made up.
They're not made up, as we discussed earlier, and you gave me the finger, but I suggested that there were anything else but, which I must deserve. But let me just read this. I'm a heterosexual guy who's just read your book. This book took me right back to my high school years, and I was comparing my experience with yours. Although I remember very little of those years, I'm emotionally exhausted after reading what you went through. All I ask myself is that, was I one of those type of boys? Because if I was, I am sorry, embarrassed, and truly regretful. This book has made me look inside myself. It is really a story that needs to be read by the masses. It is very sad, extremely brave, and incredibly soul-touching. And this is from a guy called Mark.
You know what? To get that feedback is amazing. It's you know what, I can't believe that a heterosexual man would have read it, but B, provided that feedback. Obviously that was his redemption.
Absolutely.
For whatever may have taken place in his high school life.
So why the book?
You know, I think one thing that is missing from our culture, the LGBT community, is real stories. And I think it's important to share those stories. I think that by having a voice and communicating, especially for the young adults, you know, that might need a bit of guidance to know that they're on the right path. I think that's very important.
But your book is extraordinary in that it is truly, it delves into some very, very, very personal details, and your relationship with your family, particularly mother, your father particularly, and then your brother, is painful.
Extremely painful. I didn't write a book and want it to smell like roses. You know what, I had to delve deep inside myself to find out what I wanted to write about the choices that I made, and how it would resonate with other people.
But one of the things about the character of the role, your father, who was, you had a lot of problems with him and his response to your being gay, your being effeminate, in fact. But at the same time, he was a well-known personality, and he was an entertainer as well. And you went on tour with him, working as his assistant in a magic show around country Victoria. That's an extraordinary story in itself.
Do you think?
I think so, absolutely. Yeah.
You know what, I don't think my story is that different to many LGBT people. You know, I never came from an abusive home or a disruptive background. One thing I would like to point out though, this book isn't solely about being a drag queen. This book is about a journey of experiences which we've all faced.
Absolutely.
You know, so I just wanted to highlight that it's not about me looking how I look and putting a wig on and going out and taking on the world. There's a lot of backstory behind what I talk about.
But there is a through line there from the fact that you were bullied and oppressed and persecuted for being effeminate and gay in high school, and some of your details are truly horrific. But then to become this really out personality.
You know what, I think, again, for most LGBT people, there's that line that we don't identify ourselves as being gay or lesbian or certainly trans when we're in high school. You know, everybody else seems to know it before we do. So it's very much a journey of our own destiny, if you like, and where we're going. You know, and I think in life you've got two choices. You can either succumb to what people are telling you, or you can break free and live true to yourself.
And one of the early things in this early part of the book is about your attraction to some of the boys who persecuted you, and that's something that as a gay community we deal with a lot, is this perverse attraction to the people who beat us up, essentially.
I can't speak on behalf of the boy in question in the book, you know, or what he's doing with his life at the moment.
Have you ever kept in touch?
No.
You don't know where
no,
he's at now?
No, that was the last chapter that I speak of him. That was the last time I had any contact with him at all. I don't know what his story is. I don't know where his path has taken him in life. You know, I guess it was a bit of an eye-opener for me to obviously have him as the ringleader, as I call him, to come to my house and, you know, play around in my bedroom and expose himself and do all these gay things. But again, still I never thought that I was gay. Or it never occurred to me that that's how I would identify.
As a gay
man.
So when did you come to full realization that you were gay?
Probably around the age of 14. I did what, you know, most of society do. I had a girlfriend and lived the stereotypical straight life for a couple of years, knowing full well that that wasn't for me.
And then when did Skye emerge?
I was fortunate. Due to unforeseen circumstances, obviously with my parents, I had to find some accommodation. And I was lucky enough to live with two guys in St Kilda who showed me the ropes and many other things too, not just the art of drag.
But was this something that was innate, that you thought? Could you see this have happened earlier? Or?
I talk in the book that I used to hang up curtains, very similar to these ones in the studio, and pretend I was Liza Minnelli in Cabaret, you know, and I'd perform that in our back room at home, you know. So I guess in hindsight, and I talk very much about hindsight being a happy escape from reality, which helps us deal with our situation now. So in hindsight, back in that happy escape of reality, yeah, obviously, it would be no surprise to anyone that I'm a drag queen.
But you're a drag queen, you're not, you define yourself very specifically. Can you talk about how you define yourself?
Well, first and foremost, I'm a gay man, and I think the drag, a lot of the work that I do is as Skye, because it resonates with many people. It's a different look. It's something visual for them to look at. You know, it's not a gay man standing addressing a crowd. You know, there's a lot going on here.
But you're
certainly.
not a performer per se.
No.
You're an ambassador and you're a spokesperson and
Correct.
you're a media personality.
Correct.
But you're not necessarily a drag. You're not actually
a performer.
A performer.
No, the thought terrifies me. To get up on a stage in a club, no matter how much I've had to drink, no, couldn't do it.
Really?
Gosh, no, couldn't do it at all. Terrifying.
So, but when you walk the streets of Skye, there's no problem with that?
I get the look, obviously, the legs. Obviously,
absolutely.
That's what
We're
it's
7'4".
Exactly, in drag.
We're going to stop it there for now and then pick it up again. Thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Thank you.
And we'll try and see you. Thank you very much. You've been watching Ben's TV. We'll be right back, or we'll be back again.